And so tonight we're going to talk to you a little bit more about on how to kill your Goliaths and how to not only kill the Goliath, but also the children or the seeds of Goliath, because the Goliath can also have associates. Your Goliath can also have other people that is on their side. You know, you see in war, you have other countries coming together, allegiance, alliances, that will also be on the side of your enemy. So you always got to look out. Who else is on their side? Who else is the friends of your enemy? What allegiance do they have? What other alliances do they have? Though Herod died, Herod had some children as well. Herod the Great. There was another Herod. And so you always got to not only kill the main source, you must also kill the seeds that's connected to the tree. Because you may chase the serpent out of your garden, but that doesn't mean he has not planted eggs that can grow up in the life of your children. Because if the devil can't get you, he'll go after your seed. Because the devil is a seed killer. If I can kill the seed, I can eliminate the fruit from ever producing. That's why Pharaoh said, kill all the firstborn boys. I want to talk to you another time about what happens to our firstborns. I'm going to go heavy into that. But you must always give your firstborn back to God. If it's a firstborn boy, you must give him back to God, because that one must become the priest of the family, the Levi of the family. We'll look at that at another point, at another time, as we look at firstborns and then secondborns and then thirdborns and fourthborns, if you have that mean in your household, and show you what your firstborn should do, what your secondborn should do. If you have a thirdborn, what that thirdborn should do. And if you have a fourthborn, what should that fourthborn do? And then going down the line if there's others, and show you how to make sure that they walk into their purpose and their destiny and their calling in their life. So tonight we're going to continue our teaching on killing your Goliaths. Now I want you to understand that a giant is a problem or a situation or someone in your life that looks so large and it is intimidating you day and night. When you are in a giant-sized problem, do not fear, but let God exercise his dominion and his majesty. David handed Goliath over to God. I want you to get that. David handed Goliath over to God before he engaged him, because he doesn't have what it takes to fight the Philistines. So a giant is a problem or a situation, or something that is in your life. Is there a giant that is infuriating you today? And sometimes our giants could be loneliness. Our giants could be our flesh. We're battling in our flesh. Our giants could be discouragement. It may be worry. It may be anger. It may be procrastination. It may be doubt. It may be fear. It may be temptation. Your giant may be resentment. Your giant may be bitterness. Or your giant may be failure. Your giant can also be jealousy. And how have these giants infiltrated your life? And the second question is, do you want to get rid of these daunting and daring foes? I want to show you how to slay the giants in your life. And how do we deal with these giants? Now, we looked at the other day, I believe it was 1 Samuel chapter 17, verses 1 through 11, we see a whole scenario. We went down into some other verses. We see how David goes into the battlefield. His father says, take some things, take some wine, and go take some things to your brother. But we also see that his brothers despise him, and they're angry, and the elder brother says, why are you in this field? Why are you being so nosy? Why are you here? I know the pride of your heart. I know you're up to something. You're trying to steal the glory. You're trying to get into something you have no business getting involved in. I know you want to be seen. I know you want to be heard of. Why don't you go back and tend to those few little sheep and stock that you have back at home? Get off of this battlefield. And the Bible says that he ignored what his brothers said. There are times that you must ignore the words of others that is closest to you. You must know how to pay no mind to the words of your enemy, to the words of those that is closest to you, because what they say should never matter. Well, let's look at quickly how David dealt with the situation. We see in verse 17 of chapter 17 of 1 Samuel, and Jesse said unto David his son, take now for thy brethren an ephod of this parched corn and these 10 loaves, and run to the camp to thy brethren, and carry these 10 cheeses unto the captain of their 1,000, and look how thy brethren fare, and take their pledge. Now Saul and they and all the men of Israel were in the valley of Elah, fighting with the Philistines. And David rose up early in the morning and left the sheep, and took and went as Jesse had commanded him. And he came to the trench as the host was going forth to fight, and shouted for the battle. For Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array, army against army. There's fighting. And David left his carriage in the hand of the keeper of the carriage, and ran into the army. Come on now. He ran into the army, and he came and he saluted his brethren. Here he is, this young boy, running into the army. And he saluted his brethren. Perhaps he looked it up to his big brothers. Perhaps he may have been wanted to be like them. They're older. One day I'll get to be big like my big brothers. He could have admired them because they were older. Verse 23 says, and he talked with them. And behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name, out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, as he told them prior to that send out your champion, and if he wins, we'll become your slaves, and if I win, then you all become our slave. So he came up again. We also know that for 40 days, Goliath was taunting and challenging and mocking Saul and the armies of Israel for 40 days, twice a day. So for a total of 80 times, he was mocking the armies of God. And so we see now that as he talked with them, behold, there came up the champion, the Philistine of Gath, Goliath by name. And out of the armies of the Philistines, and spake according to the same words, and David heard them this time. But the Bible says in verse 24, and all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him, and were sore afraid. The men of Israel says, have ye seen this man that is come up? Surely to defy Israel is he come up, and it shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich with great riches, and will give him his daughter, and make his father's house free in Israel? David spake to the men that stood by, saying, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. The king is going to do what? Wait a minute, tell me that again, because I need to get down into my spirit.